Merhaba. New week? Why not? Hey, first chart. It's a bit out of date, but it gives us an idea of what's gone on. It's average income, United States, 1913 to 2004. And if we follow it, we can see we kick in with the World War One, and it kind of goes into the Great Depression, so average wages go down. But from then on in, outside the Great Depression, it's right on the way up, up, up until 1974. And then if you look across, really, I mean, it's bumpy, but it's really going nowhere since 1974. And as I say, that's not up to date, that's 2004, and we know since then it certainly hasn't been going up. It's probably down from where that chart ended. So really from 1974 to today, it's going a great deal of bumpy nowhere. The light pink is capital gains. The dark pink is not including capital gains, so I think we can go with the dark pink. Going nowhere. Move on. We finished the month, so we got the information in, calculated risk, put together the Joker chart, and it's still looking shocking, isn't it? When it was coming out of where the bunch of coloured string down by the blue there, I drew smeared the mouth across in a chart, and I really didn't believe it wouldn't start going up towards making a normal smiley mouth. But there's no smiles in that at all. It's just a broken evil grin. Consumer Price Index for urban consumers, food, United States, food, CPI, food, Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. Going back to 1970, and as you can see, it's generally after the fuss of the inflation that I talked about at the weekend, which caused so much fuss in central banks and government circles, getting it under control in about 1980. They've basically kept it too high, of course, because it's round about averaging 3.5–4% there over since 1980. Something like that. It had a spike in the middle of this recession that we've been through. We're now past. That came down through the recession, and it's ticking up again, but it's nowhere really. Not even for food in the United States. It's not going up. It's not even reaching the average that it's been since 1970. Food inflation, CPI, is low. This is from SocGen, I think, Societe Generale. Funny how the S&P seems to be closely correlated to the size of the Fed's balance sheet. I couldn't get a better screen grab than this, but you can see the basic idea. This Fed's balance sheet going from the start of March lows, is it? Yeah, I think it's the March lows. And as the Fed's balance sheet increases, the S&P increases pro rata. And strangely, as it says, pro rata. Why should this be so? Moving on. Chart 1, GDP per capita. Now we'll recognise these countries. Let's go from the top is Qatar, United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Bahrain, Oman, Saudi Arabia in green. They're green because their GDP per capita, income per capita are reasonably large. But then we drop down into the blue ones, which are they're just less than the others are. Libya, Algeria, Jordan, Tunisia, Syria, Morocco and Egypt, much smaller per capita incomes. And which ones have kicked off? Libya, Algeria, Jordan, Tunisia, Syria, Morocco and Egypt. Well, they're keeping it under control in Syria for the moment, but that's only because they're real hard. lesson? Maybe. Shell energy scenario to 2050. This is taken from their 2007 energy outlook. And I might bring some more charts and information from this as we go through the week. It was kind of Shell's first attempt at honesty. This primary energy by source. I've done a similar one a few weeks ago from, is it BP? You can see oil along the bottom. This is Shell, Royal Dutch Shell, and you can see oil's going nowhere. From 2000 it goes slightly up to 2010, but that's in the past. 2020 is that much up. 2030 is down, 2040 is down, 2050 is down. This is Shell telling it like they think it might be. And that is Shell. And they're coming from optimistic projections. So this is as honest as they can get. And that's not looking good. Next one up is gas, which is meant to make some good improvement between 2010 and 20, which it is. This is the world. And look at the next one. And the main reason that those bars are going up to give those kilojoules, superjoules, whatever joules of power they are. That's coal that's being found and burnt. So coal is the future. And then we get nuclear, which goes nowhere, biomass, which shouldn't go anywhere, but you know, they've put it on there for fun, presumably, and other renewables might go up at those stages, but you can see even that there isn't Shell playing it down. Shell are being reasonably realistic, and they know that these renewables really don't cut it in real energy power compared to the oil, gas, coal type things. So it's coal. It's not oil. It's a bit of gas for a while, but it's coal. How do you fancy that, a coal future? Whoop. Have a good week, if you can. Bye.